Hello and welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Banter on the Rocks. It is Monday, March 3rd, and it's myself here and John here on this wonderful Monday. Lots to talk about from this past weekend and
Yeah.
week. And those topics are a reporter fight at a Starbucks in, I believe, a hotel at the
hmm
Combine over this past week. Some NFL moves that occurred over the weekend and late last week. Definitely want to dive into those. And we have some media stealing content question mark type scenarios that we wanted to go over. And then last but certainly not least, go over the Oscars and the recap of that entire event. And we have much more mixed in there as well. Before we get going, though, into those topics, we certainly always want to stop and talk about our brand ambassadorship with Find the Good brand. Find the Good is focused on finding the good and building a community of people who want to help find that good. For all purchases, Find the Good gives back 10% to Mental Health of America organization. And when you order, be sure to use our promo code, which is Banter805, and you'll receive 10% off your purchase. So that's 10% for you and 10% back to mental health. So great stuff there. John's debuting it, I can see up there
Right
behind
there.
his noggin. Looking great. Love that.
hmm
Great merch. Um, and yeah, so good stuff there. Moving right along into the banter drinks of the week. I'll start us off here, John.
hmm
Going with today, I'm going with a Guinness. Gosh, that looks dark.
Oh, it
Guinness
does.
is, but hey, it's set. So you don't see like that rise. It's really cool when you pour these. I feel
hmm
like, and you just kind of let them settle. But I have a Guinness extra stout that I picked up. Been a while since I've had Guinness, so
hmm
excited for this one today. Taller
Okay.
glass too to fit
Yeah,
the bottle.
the whole bottle. Do you
You
have
bet.
some what is it? Kahlua? Do an Irish car bomb?
Oh yeah. Jonathan, he's huge
That
on
boy.
those.
He is.
Oh my God. Yeah. I remember there was like a 2 year span where he's like, every time we go out, he's like, let's get
He has
Irish
to
car
get one.
bombs. Yeah, to drop it in. We'd be like in the middle of like a dinner and he'd be like,
Yeah.
Irish car bomb, drop it
Yeah, it's
in.
hilarious. They
Yeah,
were
it's
fun
great.
though. I remember my
Yeah.
first Irish car bomb.
Yeah. Super tasty though. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good stuff. I like it.
No, yeah, no, that's good. Today I'm sticking to just some OJ tequila.
All
It's
right.
been another busy week, so haven't explored much, but hoping for some of the next few episodes do something a little different, not stick to the originals, but like I said, there's also nothing wrong with sticking to what we know, you know.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I mean
It's good
that's
at
it's
times.
the comfort level, and
Yeah.
yeah, if you found something good and it tastes good,
Yeah.
just gotta run with it. Gotta
Yeah.
get the huge. When we go to a bar in the future here,
Yeah.
it's if they remember your drink, nothing better, right?
Yeah. No.
Super sick.
I don't know if that also looks good because that means you're just there a lot, drinking a lot,
That's
which
true. Hey, that's
that,
valid.
so who depends on what
Yeah,
reason they remember your drink for. If it's
sure.
for
I'd
being
probably
there
be more
too
known
much,
for what my food order was.
yeah, oh yeah, that's probably the same. Order everything on
Yeah.
the menu, all the
Right.
appetizers.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah,
But yeah, moving right along here, John.
mhm,
Exciting little topic here. We got Banter
mhm,
Takes. I'm going to
yes.
send you mine right now,
Okay.
and let's get this baby rolling.
Sure.
Um, just to preface, I know John always does this too. Just wanted to be sure to reemphasize that these are takes that we give to each other, and we're going to stand by these takes until maybe it's proven wrong or we're
Mhm,
proved wrong. So we're going to own up to them and
mhm,
not back down. Once we say it, it's ours,
yeah.
right, John?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
All
never
right.
backed down from a take.
Hell no.
So, my first take, Anthony Edwards shouldn't even be talking about not wanting to be the face of the NBA when he hasn't even won anything. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know who the face of the NBA is. I saw LeBron's little comment that he doesn't even want to be the face of the NBA, but I call BS on that. With everything he does, that's what he wants to be, and that's what he wants to be known as. But because all the inf all the news around the NBA is drama. They're getting boring. No viewers. NBA All-Star. Um, like I said, I don't know, but Anthony Edwards, amazing player, great, great for Minnesota, great for the NBA, but also a little bit of a problem. He's already gotten so many technical fouls that he got suspended. I think it's 2 games, or a
Hmm.
game after the his last double. And it sort of reminds me, like he's taking that Draymond route a little bit, being the bad boy of basketball. And, it's great to be, aggressive and have that type of style, but also being smart, and especially if you want to be one of those known in the long run in the NBA, because you have to be liked, to be remembered. Kobe, Michael, the names you remember, Scotty, Pippen, Steve Nash. These are all players we liked, Dennis Rodman, the bad boy, doesn't get talked about as much as, all these other players. And Dennis Rodman was a great player. He helped the Bulls win championships. So Anthony Edwards has to get it together and he has to start winning a bit more. I think losing Cat is gonna hurt him. Um, but yeah, I don't think he should be talking too much, not wanting to be the face when I don't think many people are thinking him as the face. I see Shea probably being more the face of the NBA right now, or even the Joker, you know. They're just better
Hmm.
players, more consistent, and likable.
Absolutely. Yeah. I even see, a guy like Luca,
Hmm.
if he'd probably be a little bit more into that role even too
Yeah.
with, the finals appearance also. But yeah, kind of odd, that he was kind of taking that, I guess,
Hmm.
under his belt when he hasn't really won anything.
Yeah.
He's made it deep into the playoffs, sure, but
Hmm.
yeah, besides that, there's nothing really to back it up. And
Yeah.
to your point, I feel like right now the face of the NBA is still all the old fellas.
Yeah.
You have Steph and LeBron. I feel like
LeBron.
those are the
Hmm.
two right now. And Joker, I feel like is a really, really close third at this point. Maybe if he wins another NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Likewise with a guy like Tatum. I think
Hmm.
Jason Tatum is certainly up there. If
Yeah.
he wins, maybe again this year, very well could be, in that territory, becoming the face of the NBA as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just kind of seemed odd. Anthony Edwards is a very well liked guy. I
Hmm.
saw a recent posting of a top selling NBA jersey. I think he's number five in the league right now, 5 or 6. So obviously very popular. His playing style
Hmm.
is incredible. He has sensational dunks. I think I've seen 3 or 4 this year that could be dunk of the year
Hmm.
just by him.
Yeah.
And, he's just super fun to watch. He's a competitor, plays a lot like Mike, and maybe that's why this question's coming up a lot
Hmm.
because we kind of had a conversation about him previously when he was compared to Michael Jordan, and it would just seemed way too soon to really involve that, minus just the way he plays.
Yeah.
Just his footwork, his athleticism. Uh, I guess some of the athletic moves he makes
Yeah.
uh, are reminiscent of a guy like Mike. So, yeah, overall, it's too soon, man. He
Hmm.
can't go there with the face of the NBA yet.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, no, we'll see. Like I say, he has a potential, but I think he still needs to show a lot more. I think he's trying to be like Mike. I know he wears his little armband almost like Mike doesn't even on his foot. So like
nope,
he wants to be, but he has to get it together. But
yeah,
we'll see.
no doubt. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
Yeah,
He's still super young, so I
yeah,
mean, lots of playing time to go.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll move on to my take here. John has sent it over. We have with Jimmy Johnson retiring from Fox, Jameis should look into taking his spot for sports and uh, in retiring from the NFL altogether. He will earn just as much and protect his health. Completely agree with this. I know we've prefaced this in the past, Sean, with Jameis just I guess his Super Bowl media
Hmm.
appearance and how phenomenal he was. He's really fun on his I guess pregame
Yeah.
interviews, and he's been involved in some stories that kind of make you chuckle. I mean, like the crab leg incident,
hmm
just from college, and just a
Yeah.
bunch of small things like the finger licking W's
hmm
before games. Like the dude is just such a great personality. He's so much fun to watch. He's just top echelon of entertainment.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was on full display at the Super Bowl. And it just feels like you can't get him down. Like this guy is just positive attitude, positive mindset. And I feel like he would flow really well with that cast because overall, like Jimmy Johnson retiring, like that whole desk,
Yeah.
is getting up there in age. Bradshaw, right? He's
hmm
he's on Fox with them
Yeah.
too. He's been under a lot of discussion of retiring because some of the stuff he says is like, whoa. And
Yeah.
I'll send, I know that we sent clips of stuff he's saying at the desk, to each other, and yeah, I think the writing's on the wall that there's needs for some new heads in there and new former players or personalities. And I think
Yeah.
Jameis is a phenomenal one. And he could be a great
hmm
pairing with a guy like Gronk.
Yeah.
I think that would be a ton of fun. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I think, seeing that news, trying to think who could take over, and Jameis Winston just comes to my head, like you mentioned during this past Super Bowl, he was probably one of the most sought after videos of him reporting around New Orleans about the game and about anything, and people were watching, people were enjoying it. He's just a fun character and great personality that I think if Fox wants to make a good move with all the other drama they're sort of dealing with right now, um, Jameis Winston's the way to go. I know there's probably a lot of other people that would be great, but I just think Jameis it's a good choice, but I know he still has so much that he wants to put into football, so it'll be a tough one. But like I say, this protects his health, you know, in football.
Mhm.
CTE, getting hit, it damages you. And the way Jameis plays too, he plays hard, he plays aggressive, he's not going to back down. I think we talked about it when AR sat, because he was just tired. Jameis Winston wouldn't have done that. He would have put his body out
No.
there,
Uh-huh.
gone full force. So, I think it's a win for both, but Jameis Winston has other ideas what he wants for his future, but broadcasting, if not this year with Fox, I think once he retires, he'll get something.
No doubt. And I think he'll make quite a bit more than what he could be making
Yeah,
in the NFL.
probably.
Kind of like you mentioned. I think, as of right now, there's a select few teams maybe he could start for. I feel like
Mhm.
most jobs he'd be looking at would just be a backup
Yeah.
role. I mean, is there really any, like, I guess we'll see what the Giants do for a
hmm
starting position, but maybe that's somewhat of an option to be a starter, I
Yeah.
suppose. If they just want to, whoever they draft, not just jump right in right away. But
Mhm.
besides that, it's pretty open.
Yeah.
Or just not open. It's pretty closed. It's
Yeah.
kind of a closed door for opportunities there. So,
hmm
I mean, you look at Brady's contract and what he got with Fox. Obviously, there's a
Yeah.
little bit of a difference in Brady and in Winston, but
hmm
I mean, still, like that
Yeah.
money is there and it's good.
Yeah. No, yeah. So we'll see. So Conan O'Brien was the best Oscar host we have had in a while, and what helped is he didn't have a filter. Yeah, when I was watching the Oscars, Conan's jokes, I don't think he was scared, and he pushed the limit on a few, some of the jokes, even with people there. Hilarious. And I've always liked Conan as, a late night talk show host. He was always funny. His skits are always funny as well. He's a little out there. Like I said, Jimmy Kimmel, always enjoyed him as well. He did
Mhm.
okay, but I think Conan really blew it out of the water. Like I said, his jokes cracked me up. Like I say, with the Emilia Perez actress, had no shame calling her out, on her tweets, which, I don't think anybody else would have done that. So, um, it's hard to host the Oscars, I've heard. I've heard not many people want to take the gig because you do get criticized a lot, but I think Conan did an amazing job, and I wouldn't be surprised if they ask him back next year. I think he does it maybe 2, 3 years. Um, it reminds me of
Gervais.
Gervais when
Hmm.
he would do the Oscars. He did it like
Oh
two
yeah.
consecutive years. That he was
Savage.
great. He was great too because of that savagery.
Yep.
He's no filter or somewhat of a filter, but also not afraid to say stuff.
Right.
So I liked Conan. So I yeah, I think he's one of the
Yeah.
best Oscar hosts we've had in quite a while.
Yeah, I agree. I even watching back on a lot of the clips, like his opener was wild the way he cut himself out of somebody's, body and just walking
Yes.
out there and then he had to go back and look for his other shoe in the
Yeah.
body. That was pretty funny. And his opening, kind of like I won't waste time song he
Hmm.
did was funny.
Yeah.
Just overall, his comedy does it for me
Hmm.
as well. I think he was a great late show host, late night
Yeah.
host, and just like the skits he would do with like his office personnel, like behind the
Yeah.
scenes stuff on off days, and it was just great. It's good
Yeah.
content always with him. He's just so effortlessly funny. I feel like
Hmm.
he just makes it seem easy. And I think he had a joke with Timmy Chalamet where, he said, "Oh, you won't have trouble with
Yeah.
people seeing you out riding your bike home or
Yeah.
something like
With that
that."
yellow butter suit.
Exactly. Yeah, and with Adam Sandler, obviously he had fun in
Yeah.
there too, and yeah, overall, and then of course, we'll mention just his Drake comment,
Yeah.
of getting halfway through the show and saying this would be the time for him to call out Drake for being you know what. I won't go
Yeah.
there, but yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
Again, I guess I think right after that he said, don't worry, I'm lawyered up or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's
He did
just
say that. I thought it was hilarious.
yeah, he was just ready, he
Yeah.
he was just going for it, and I think I appreciate that where it's just not it doesn't seem so scripted and
Hmm.
ultra formal,
Yeah.
it just seems, you know, good. But overall,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought he was a phenomenal host. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think he's one of the best ones in recent years. Jimmy Kimmel had a few good times. Um, I think there were some years they didn't even have a host just because, like I said, nobody really wanted to do it. So
Right.
I could see Conan coming back at least one more year, and then we'll figure out who's next after that because it'll be hard
Didn't
to
wasn't Chris Rock then he got was it the Will Smith slap?
he wasn't a host, he was just a
Just a
presenter.
presenter. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, anyways, yeah, again, even being a presenter, it seems like
Hmm.
it's tough these days. I
Yeah.
saw like a clip of past Oscars where for Best Picture they had La La Land and it
Oh
wasn't
yeah.
La La Land who won.
Yeah.
And even then it's just heavily scrutinized.
Yeah.
It's yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, no matter what you do, it's gonna be remembered for many years, and if it's memorable, forever. Because
Yep.
that Will Smith clip pops up every time when it's Oscar season. It pops up, and
Yep.
like I said, we didn't have the show back then, but if we had it, we would have talked a lot about it and gave kudos to Chris Rock for keeping his
Yeah,
cool after
no
being
doubt.
slapped.
Yeah, slap her around the world.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a bitch slap if I've ever seen
yeah,
one. Like that
no, for
was
sure.
a full on smack. He got his whole body into it.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, no, it
Oh
was
man.
insane. So, but yeah, that was Conan. Like I said, great. Hopefully he comes back another year, but we'll see.
Yep, absolutely. All right, my next take. Costco CFO Richard Galanti is retiring, and Gary Millerchip is taking over. Gary is known to look at raising profits, while Richard has been defending Costco's $1.50 hot dog price. If Gary raises the price of the hot dog, we as a planet must stand up against him. Absolutely. Like full-fledged pitchfork,
Yep.
just torches. We're going after it,
Yeah.
Gary over here, because yeah, that would be absolute foul.
Hmm.
Just it would I would hate it. I think all of America would hate it. and it's like the last place on planet Earth that has reasonable prices for food products.
Yeah.
After you've just hustled through that entire store, dodging carts, dodging
Yeah.
people, like you just want to go over there and enjoy a glizzy for $1.50. Like
Yep.
that's all you want.
Yes.
And chicken bake is great, pizza, you name it.
Everything
Um,
is.
yeah, and that hot dog is it's good size.
Hmm.
It's for $1.50. Yeah,
It's
now we're
not
talking.
bad. Yeah.
So it's not bad, but yeah, no, if he goes for profits, like that's the whole reason why I even mentioned why you're dodging so many people at Costco is
Hmm.
the prices. I mean, yeah, you can't escape there for like less than $300, but I mean, you're
Yeah.
going in there and you're just leaving with a ginormous cart full of stuff. Like
Hmm.
you're getting great deals constantly. Membership is very reasonable as well. And yeah, I mean, like, come on,
Hmm.
Gary, you better not. You better not.
Yeah.
Like, it's fighting words if you raise that $1.50 hot dog because
Yeah.
they even talked about it. Didn't they change the style of Frank that they used
Hmm.
at one point a few years back? And then I think they
Yeah.
reverted and brought back the original dog, if I'm
Hmm.
not mistaken.
Yeah, I think they did that. They also got rid of the Polish dogs. They used to
Yeah,
have
yeah, 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 yeah.
the Polish. Now it's just a regular hot dog, which is still fine,
Yeah.
but every now and then you
Yeah.
wanted that Polish. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, they better not do that with the double chunk chocolate chip cookie either. It's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna be like no more booms at that point.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, it would be absolute bullshit if Gary
Hmm.
does that.
Yeah.
He better not. What
No,
do you think,
yeah.
John?
Yeah, I
Frank?
think if he does it, like I think and like I say, as a planet, because Costco's everywhere. It's in Asia, it's
Oh yeah,
across,
there you go.
it's in many different countries, and it's like everywhere has the hot dog at $1.50. And it's like you
Mhm.
cannot change that because, like you mentioned, we do spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And, you know, going to Costco, your reward after doing all that is that hot
Yeah.
dog, is that pizza, the cookie. For me,
Hmm.
for us, Keanu, that double chunk chocolate cookie,
Oh,
it's his favorite. He
slaps.
already
Yeah.
knows. We go to Costco, he's excited about it, you
No,
know.
he knows what's
S-
up. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
it's
like, all
great.
right, I'll be chill. I won't cry while in Costco because I know what I'm getting at the end.
Yep, that's
So
it.
it'll be interesting, because like I say, it's a new CFO, or anytime there's someone new in those type of high power places, they look, especially a CFO, they're looking for making profit. They're looking how to make more money. And you, hot dogs, you go to a movie theater, you got to pay 7, $8. Costco's still a
Mhm.
dollar fifty with the drink. So it would be travesty and horrible if they do that, but I hope they don't. I've read reports that they're not going to, but like I say, it's someone new. It might take a few months. They're trying not to stir the pot, but hopefully he never stirs the pot with this.
You better not. Like that, it's literally gonna cause a riot.
Yeah.
And on top of that, haven't they made like books or documentaries on how well run Costco is?
Hmm.
Like, why fuck it up, Gary?
Yeah.
Don't you dare. Like, you're not
Yeah,
making
don't.
freaking documentaries on, I don't know, other stores really. Like, I mean,
Uh,
Costco's got it down. Like,
hmm. They do.
from everything I've heard, I think it's a great place to work.
Hmm.
Their
Yeah.
wages are what good.
Yeah.
Hours are good,
Benefits. Hmm.
benefits, you name it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
they got everything there. They got a pharmacy, they got vision. I think in the Westlake one, they have like hearing aids and stuff. So I'm like, man, they got everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, Gary, don't make that mistake, because if you do, it's not gonna end well for you, because
Absolutely
we're
not.
all
I'm
gonna.
actually, yeah, we're gonna riot. Oh, yeah. Gary Millerchip found his LinkedIn right
Yeah,
here. Harvard Business School. Intelligent man, obviously.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, he's only been there a year and a month.
hmm,
Was that Kroger before?
yeah,
Don't do it, Gary.
Yeah, don't do it because then we're all just gonna go to Sam's Club because Sam's Clubs they'll match the $1.50 and take advantage.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I'll change my membership if that's the case.
yeah, yeah. No, I will too.
Mhm.
So everybody, we'll riot if Gary makes some changes to Costco, but we hope he does it.
Absolutely not. It's a good
Uh,
take.
uh, no, yeah. But we'll continue. And one thing, I don't think they have much of this, or they do have a little bit of it, but not like a store itself. Starbucks, you don't see that in Costco. You might see some Starbucks products here and there,
Hmm.
some of the creamers, things like that. But this past weekend or this past week, they had the NFL Combine in Indianapolis, and there was a little reporter scuffle at their Starbucks, and it had Ian Rappaport and Jordan Schultz involved. Where, um, like I said, I heard a little bit about it that Jordan Schultz came to confront Ian Rappaport about. I don't know. Do you know it a little bit better, Tim? Like what was it
Yeah,
exactly?
yeah. So from what I've heard,
Yeah.
everybody loves Starbucks in the morning. You're in a hotel. I guess this was in a hotel
Hmm.
lobby of
Okay.
maybe a Marriott, I think it was,
Oh,
close to
nice.
the Combine. I guess a lot of the reporters, coaches, teams, staff, all stay there during this week. I think that's just a very popular place. So,
Yeah.
um, lots of people around to hear the
Hmm.
fracas of this disagreement. And
Uh,
from my understanding is from people boots on the ground over there. Ian
uh,
Rappaport was in line ordering, maybe he already had his coffee, but was just in the Starbucks. Then in comes Jordan Schultz of Fox,
hmm.
angrily telling him to, um, you better stand the fuck down or something like that.
Hmm.
Excuse my French, but he did cuss.
Yeah.
And, basically told him to back the fuck off. And, don't basically misalign my story. So I guess what had happened was Jordan Schultz had reported that Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford met for a secret meeting
Hmm.
in a getaway somewhere in Whitefish, Montana, beautiful area in
Hmm.
Montana. I think this is where the super rich athletes,
Yeah.
celebrities all go. I'm sure it's very exclusive. Have to get behind, gates made of gold, something like that.
Yeah.
And, this is where the elites go. So rumors had it, that was Jordan Schultz reporting, but
Hmm.
obviously that would be some sort of collusion with
Hmm.
Brady being, part owner now. So I guess Ian Rappaport said that wasn't the case at all, in that it was just happen chance
Yeah.
that Brady and Stafford were vacationing in the same exact spot at the same exact time.
Hmm.
And I guess Jordan Schultz was trying to align that with he was happen chance, quote
Hmm.
unquote, uh, vacationing in Cabo last time he
Yeah.
was signed with the Rams with Sean McVay.
Hmm.
So I think they're relating the two stories. Anybody can take it as they wish. But Ian Rappaport certainly is playing it down. And maybe Rappaport had, a little bit of maybe a better
Hmm.
clue there because Stafford obviously re-signed with the Rams over the weekend. So, I don't know, maybe behind closed doors, Brady's offer wasn't quite good enough. I'm
Yeah.
not too sure. But anyways, in addition to this, now this I will quote the source of uh, PFT on Pardon My
Yeah.
Take had mentioned that I guess Jordan Schultz was upset that possibly behind his back, Ian Rappaport was giving away Uber stock in exchange for inside scoop.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a thing. And to add on to that, I believe
Hmm.
Jordan Schultz is the son of the
Hmm.
former CEO of Starbucks. So,
Yes.
I think that's probably why Jordan Schultz was like, fuck around and find out. This is my dad's place. So
Yeah.
cussing's allowed for, the owner's kid.
Yeah.
And, maybe that's, he just
Hmm.
felt the power to do that. And
Yeah.
I guess not much has happened there. But again, a big thing with this too, John.
Hmm.
Jordan Schultz works for Fox. Tom Brady works for
Yeah.
Fox. Wouldn't he be throwing under the
Hmm.
Tom Brady under the bus for a
That's what
report
it
like
looks
this?
like, throwing your own coworker under the bus.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way because you
Yeah.
don't want collusion up in
Hmm.
here. So that's, it's a kind of a wild story.
Hmm.
I think it made the combine a lot more entertaining than
Yeah.
it was. So good little news story out of there. And John, not to say that you're ever going to get in a fight with any
Hmm.
reporters, but is there any reporter you would just want to dodge? Just maybe former player, anybody in
Uh,
general, you'd be like, oh, I would never F with that guy.
I don't know. I gotta think about it. I think right now the one person I've talked a lot about, I'm not gonna call him a reporter, but another podcaster, Michael Parsons. He
Oh
probably has
yeah.
heard our takes. That's one
Yep.
I would probably try to dodge and avoid if he knew who I was, because I know
Yep.
I'd probably get punched in the face and I would probably die from that type of punch.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
I hear you. Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
one that comes to mind for me would be Shannon Sharp. I feel
Shannon
like
Sharp.
that dude would just annihilate me.
Yeah,
Yeah. Not
that
saying he
guy.
would. Seems like a great guy. But
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Yeah. That's not one reporter. I don't think Jordan Schultz would have done the same thing to Shannon Sharp, you
no.
know.
No. Yeah. No, his after playing career, that dude stayed in shape. Like
Hmm.
props to Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
Dude's
No,
yeah,
for
he's putting in
sure.
the work. So good for him. But in general, yeah,
Hmm.
fun little story out of the combine. Not a whole lot to say about
Yeah.
the combine. A lot of non-participants in the big
Hmm.
names. I will say, I think Jackson Dart moved
I
his
saw.
draft stock
Yeah.
up quite a bit.
Yeah, I think Jackson Dart can be that number two QB. I think he could go before Sanders, Shadir. Um,
Sure.
I don't think he'll go before Cam Ward. I still think Cam Ward is the number one QB coming out of the draft. But Jackson Dart, I think he might have moved himself up into the first round or at least early second, because from what he showed, he has potential. We'll see what Sanders, Cam Ward do during their pro day because it sounds like they may be throwing there a bit, but who knows? But yeah, combine wasn't as interesting. Even the 40-yard dashes, not much to talk about. I think there was one player that said he was going to break the record and
Yep.
totally woofed it. Horrible
Yeah.
showing. That guy's not going to be drafted because of,
Right.
that cockiness.
I think he ran like what, like a 4.4, and I think his teammate
4-4.
ran a 4.29. Like his
Yeah.
teammate beat him out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So it's like
not
you
a good
can't be
look.
talking that and not even getting close. So
Right.
we'll see what he does at his pro day. It's the one time he could probably try to make up for this mistake that he did, but who knows if people will even be paying attention. But yeah, after that, the scuffle with the reporters was probably the biggest news. I think it, it's the first time I hear of a scuffle like this in sports, between at least NFL reporters.
Sure.
Hope to see more. It'll be fun, interesting,
Hey, yeah. Yeah, why
calling
not?
it.
Starbucks, you
Yeah.
name it. Just anywhere in the studio.
Yeah,
Didn't
in the city.
I, I won't even bring up the story, I suppose, because I just can't even remember. But I was thinking of like a funny clip where I guess a reporter enraged a player and the guy ran around. I don't think it was Jim Rome, it was somebody else that just kept missaying the guy's name,
Yeah.
like, oh, don't call me that. And then he kept doing it. And the guy tackled him out of his chair or something like
It
that.
sounds like a
It was a
Jim Rome
famous clip.
stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Jim Rome was
Sounds,
great back in the day.
yeah, yeah. So,
But
but yeah,
in general,
yeah.
I think the only quick thing here,
Hmm.
John, one more quick thing. Miller's hands grew a half inch, right? Half inch. I
I
think
think
so.
so. I think that's what I read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's- I don't know how, but he did it.
Who knows? Yeah.
A lot of exercises. Yes.
Yeah.
You
It
know.
could be. I'm curious. I'm curious if you can at that or because you got to think about it. He's still young. He's still younger than
Yeah.
us. Maybe the body grows. I don't know.
Maybe if you just like stretch out your hands a certain way, I'm
Hmm.
sure maybe he
Yeah.
got like a team on it, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, I know you got to do some like band workouts with your
Yeah.
fingers. Maybe I
just
don't
just to make it feel or make it look like it's a little bit bigger than what it says,
know.
you
You're
know,
right. Hey, props to him
pre-combine.
though. It's
Yeah.
yeah, good
It's gonna
stuff.
help him. It's gonna help
Hmm.
him. So we'll see. But yeah, like I said, I think we both wasn't the most interesting draft combine. Still a lot of good info. I think the pro days, that's where a lot of people are going to be showing off their skills. Want to see Genty, want to see Scatterbro. I
Oh
want to
yeah.
see them participate because I think those two are going to be interesting players to draft this coming year. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
Starbucks combine.
Hey.
Never, never a bad, never a bad combo when you say Starbucks and Combine. I hope we continue having that segment. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think maybe Starbucks is the pre-workout for
maybe,
reporters.
yeah, it could be.
Yeah. Get some
Have
hypes.
have a little fight club in there. Have them go at it the one time a year that you guys get to fight.
Yeah.
And no repercussions.
Yeah. You know what? That sounds like quite the event, like in the morning. Just
hmm
get a cup of coffee and like don't set up your laptop and instead
Yeah,
just start placing wagers on,
yeah,
just Fight Club at
fight club.
Starbucks.
That'd be hilarious. That'd be good.
Yeah.
So
I
good
like it.
idea for you guys there, NFL, for your next
Mhm.
combine.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, with the NFL, there was also some just team news. First one, Matt Stafford signing with the Rams again. I think it's a little bit of a surprise. It sounded like they were going to move on from him. So interesting turn of events. I think Puka is probably happy, someone he
Hmm.
knows. But what are your thoughts with that, re-signing?
Yeah, I think that changes the scope for a lot of different teams around the NFL. He's rumored with the Giants, Raiders,
Mhm.
just to name a few.
Yeah.
So, I think that it changes the dynamic of, I guess, expectations in the NFC West
hmm
and then across the league altogether. If he would have went to one of those destinations, he could have really impacted a team for
Yeah.
a short time. And, then, I guess, what do you receive in
hmm
exchange for him as well? So, just in general, it's something that I feel like is, I think it's good for the Rams.
hmm
They can stay stagnant, and it's a good thing to build off of. I mean, they
Yeah.
were phenomenal last year. I think they exceeded expectations.
Yeah, they did.
So I think it's good.
hmm Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think there's a lot of teams that were hoping to win that Stafford sweepstakes. I think the Giants were a big one, hoping to get him. Now Sean has to go back to the drawing board. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see what the Rams do just because, like I say, they still got Puka. It sounds like they're going to trade Cooper, so I'm curious what they're going to be able to get back for him. Um, but yeah, a lot of teams missed out, and now they're probably scrambling on these, prospects in the draft or even other free agents. Like I said, and I think we mentioned it. Jameis Winston could be a good option for New York, the Giants. I'm hearing Aaron Rodgers possibly for the Giants. Going
Yeah,
across the locker room. So we'll see.
stay local. I
Yeah.
guess keep the house.
hmm
Yeah,
He does.
could be convenient. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then Devontae, let's see if he follows him there.
hmm Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see, but that was one. I think the other one probably a little bit bigger for us because we talk about this team a lot more. Debo going to the Washington Commanders for a fifth round pick. What do you think, Tim, being the 49er fan?
Uh, from my perspective, good riddance. I mean, thanks for what you did, Debo.
Yeah.
He's very impactful in his time, but writing was kind of on the wall after this
hmm
past season. That was rough.
Yeah.
He's kind of stayed overweight, didn't make a
hmm
big impact, couldn't separate from defenders, didn't really seem to put in all that much effort, did a lot of talk, started some scuffles amongst teammates to perform better when he really wasn't backing it up himself. Wish we would have gotten a little bit more for him. but because of his play last year, and he's certainly on the back half of his career in general,
Mhm.
I think a fifth round was the best we were going to do. Uh, from the Commanders' perspective, I guess it's a good flyer on just a fifth rounder.
Yeah.
I think it could be beneficial for them. But as far as my Niners go, let's see what we do to
Hmm.
try to replace him if Pearsall is going to step up and maybe kind
Yeah.
of take over just that role in general. We're also rumored to be in the market of trading Ayuk at this
Hmm.
point. So I'm kind of interested to see what direction this team's even going because I mean we're not that far separated from Super Bowl appearances,
Yeah.
and we still have a lot of the same dynamics there. So if we trade Ayuk, we better get a
Hmm.
great haul in
Yeah.
return. At that point, don't know how serious we are on that, but it's
Yeah.
certainly rumored. So we'll see. But overall, yeah, no, writing was on the wall. It was necessary.
Hmm.
Uh, Good luck to the Commanders, I suppose. Going back to a team where the assistant GM of the former assistant GM of
Hmm.
the Niners is now GM for the Commanders. So,
Yeah.
kind of going after a former player there. But what do you think, John?
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I think Commanders paying a fifth isn't too bad. I think the 49ers just getting out of that contract. I think they were just ready last year. So,
Mhm.
um I think it's good for them. Um but yeah, I don't know how I hope it doesn't bring down Jaden Daniels because he has a lot of promise. They got Scary Terry, but now they have that other piece, that slot piece. So I think it could work. I could see it working out. Um, but Debo needs to go back to the old Debo, not the little chunkier Debo.
Mhm.
And then for the 49ers, yeah, I think Pearsall has to step up. I don't think he's a number one receiver, but I'm also curious with Ayuk. I'm wondering if he comes back to the team, what kind of Ayuk is it going to be after that type of injury? Because some players come back strong, some struggle after, the type of injury Ayuk had. So, and if you guys do trade him, I think it's going to be hard to get a nice big haul because of that injury. So, it's they're really going to have to assess the situation and who's out there. I think Cooper Cup would be a good piece there in
Mhm.
San Fran. Like I say, I think Cooper Cup could really teach, you know, Ricky a lot about, just separating because that's something Cooper Cup in
Oh
his
yeah.
prime did really well. One of the top receivers. He's still a really good receiver, but you know, Pearson he's that role model, and I think Cooper Cup could be it. So I wouldn't
Yep.
be surprised if you guys see Cooper Cup.
Yeah. I think it would be a phenomenal fit. I know we've
Hmm.
talked about it briefly on here before. uh, just what he brings. Puka, I think recently sent out a text like, just it was some type of foreshadowing of how disappointed he'd be, to see
Hmm.
Cooper go away. Just, I'm sure because of the huge impact, because Puka plays a lot like
Hmm.
Cooper Cup. He's
Yeah.
just fresher, younger legs.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I would love that addition of Cooper Cup. Other names that come to mind would be a guy like Devontae Adams. He's from the
Hmm.
Bay Area. Bring him back over here could be pretty cool. But
Yeah.
again, kind of rumored to be with, wanting to kind of stick around Aaron Rodgers.
Hmm.
Another one that comes to mind is, I think, DeAndre Hopkins, right? I
Yeah.
think he's floating out there again, but we'll
Hmm.
see. Obviously, those are all players on the back end of their careers, and
Hmm.
it's just kind of pick and choose what you think at that
Yeah.
point. So, um, we'll see what we do. Hopefully, we draft well. I know it's been a big
Hmm.
issue in the past. You never know.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think the draft is going to really open up the doorways and sort of a vision of where the your all of our teams are going, because like I said, the
Mhm.
Ravens, we need a lot of help. 49, every team needs help, even the Chiefs need help. The Eagles, I saw they got I think they released Darius Slay, one of
Mhm.
their cornerstones of Philadelphia. Great they did it with, after winning the Super Bowl, but still a hard, release because he's Philly.
Oh
So,
yeah.
and it shows that they're going to need to make up that position. So we'll
Yep.
see what the draft brings. I'm excited for it. It's always a fun time watching the first few rounds. Um,
Oh
I
yeah.
think I think after like round three is sort of where I disconnect. I don't really watch it
Oh
as
yeah.
closely, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's where I am. Like after that, I don't know, just remain focused on what our team chooses. Um, but besides
Yeah,
that, yeah, like just
yeah,
league wide in general. Yeah,
yeah.
first three are the most entertaining,
Yeah, but
no doubt.
that's all the NFL news that I've seen this past week. Anything else,
Yeah,
Tim?
no, I think
You?
that's it.
Yeah.
And kind of brings us to our next topic where we kind of want to touch base on some media news.
Hmm.
And this is kind of involving, I guess, big players, in the game. Won't name drop anybody, but we all
Hmm.
know like just big, I guess, media outlets who are just well versed in all social media platforms.
Hmm.
And a big thing that I've been noticing lately, I don't know about yourself, do John,
Hmm.
maybe as we kind of discussed this past week, big companies reposting what smaller creators are making.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of pushback lately that, I've personally been noticing where commenters are like, oh, um, please stop stealing
Hmm.
content or this and that, but yeah, I was kind of curious of your take on this, Sean,
Yeah.
about this kind of topic of content stealing and, maybe them using that towards their own monetization
Hmm.
for larger media outlets.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just happening with larger media outlets. I think it's happening with like just a lot of people, stealing. And I don't want to use the word stealing because I don't know exactly the legal term of what's going on.
Oh, sure.
But
Hmm.
it's like they're reposting it. Yes, they're getting the videos. If ESPN posts a clip of a small creator, it's getting a lot of views. It's getting that creator known. But I think what I'm curious, and like I said, I think it's doing a lot of research and just looking like how many viewers or how many subscribers, likes does that viewer get on their own channel to sort of monetize them? Because that's the big thing with, TikTok, Instagram. Depending on how many views, it's how you get paid. That's what the content game on those platforms is. It's not, because getting views, getting known leads to the next way you make money, which is sponsorships. I think that's the goal for everybody. That's the goal for us. So it's happening everywhere. And like I say, I just don't know how to control it because I think it's helpful at times because it gets a small person known, but at the same time, they're not getting anything from it. If ESPN posts a clip from a small creator, ESPN's getting all those likes, all that view, all that traffic. The creator, and you sort of have it in the notes, does it matter if they get tagged? I think it does matter because it gives you a link to sort of go watch all their other content. But how many people really do click on it? Sometimes you're just scrolling and you watch a video and you're like, okay, next one. You're not really going into that creator that really is their original content. So, it's a crazy situation because I saw one video on TikTok where, and like I say, now that I think of it, I don't know if it was an AI video, but it looked legit.
Hmm. Hmm.
But this guy says, I wake up, he finds videos that are popular, he splits, he doesn't splice them, but he goes onto CapCut, makes it, puts some words, changes the filter, and then eventually reposts it on his channel, and he makes like 10K from that video of someone else's content, which is like crazy to think of that he's making money, but that creator that originally posted it might not have made anything, if that. So I don't think it's just big companies. I think it's a lot, but I think it sort of sucks, but at the same time, it gets people known.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the big thing is I guess you kind of hope for I don't know the word for it. I guess not repercussions, but like, just what comes of it,
Hmm.
with tagging somebody from a big media outlet, and that gives like a small creator the chance at a lot more people possibly
Hmm.
clicking on their channel than
Yeah.
ever before. Who knows if that video went viral before they did it? I feel like
Yeah.
oftentimes it's maybe not, but um yeah, you kind of nailed it. How often do we watch these videos and then never think to really click on,
Hmm.
the profile itself of who created that?
Who
And
created it?
you, you know, this is something that you're right. It goes on with, fan pages of
Hmm.
certain groups that they repost things and people comment on those videos thinking
Hmm.
that is the actual creator,
Yeah.
and follow and do all that. So you're right. It happens absolutely everywhere. In my opinion, if we were lucky to get somebody to,
Hmm.
reshare a video of ours, I would probably see it like glass half full kind of
Hmm.
wise, where it'd be like,
Yeah.
hey, it puts our content out there. We're
Yeah.
branded and got all that out there. So it's that's a possibility too. But
Hmm.
in general, I can see why there is pushback to it. But I feel like there definitely is some upside as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and like all those people commenting on the big pages, like, "Oh, don't do that. It's stealing content." Like I say, there's way to protect your content, ways to protect your IP. A lot of these small creators that get posted on these bigger pages, they're trying to get a name for themselves, and it's sort of I think where some people have to just sort of learn the legality and learn sort of what to do when someone wants to use your clips because I truly don't think a lot of them are doing it without asking. I think at times, especially these big companies, I think what they do is they reach out to a viral clip that they think is funny or related to their channel that their fans, and followers would like, and sort of ask the the person like, "Hey, we want to post your video. Are you okay with that?" And I think that's where some people are so excited to see ESPN, like, "Oh man, ESPN wants to post my video." They're just going to say yes immediately because, like I say, it puts their name out there, but they don't know the other pieces of, hey, well, if you get 1 million likes, you're getting something from it. You got to throw me a piece, of it at
Mhm.
least, something like that. That's where they sort of had to have to negotiate. So we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't think a lot of these commenters know what might be going on behind the scenes, but if
Mhm.
it is just people stealing content, yeah, that's not right, but it's a hard game to sort of maneuver in.
Sure. Yeah, no, and even in the past, I've seen like people come up with like a kind of, I guess, a clip style, like a reaction video
Hmm.
or I guess skit comedy
Hmm.
where they have like a certain style and it can be repetitive where they
Hmm.
make new ones, daily, weekly,
Yeah.
whatever. But they weren't the original creator of
Hmm.
that kind of skit. They just redid it in a way that maybe attracts more attention, or because their page was bigger, it just
Hmm.
promoted more.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of people don't see that. And then people are,
Yeah.
of course, commenting who the original person was. So
Hmm.
I don't know. In general, maybe copying is the
Hmm.
biggest form of flattery for
Yeah.
people. But I don't know. Interesting topic. We'll see how it keeps going. But yeah, I guess I don't overly bat an eye on it. I've just seen a lot of reaction lately to it,
Hmm.
where it's like, yeah, well, it could be a page promotion for that person.
Yeah. No, and you'll see a lot of it because, like I say, once you watch one of those videos, then you're gonna get like five more of the same video from five different creators posting the exact same
Sure.
thing, just with
Yep.
either I've seen the videos of them making like slime, people
Hmm.
cooking and that video showing like people are getting creative and like I say, some people are getting the views, some people are getting the likes, they're getting the followers and if that's the way you play the game, that's the way you play the game. I think eventually it'll get cracked down on, but I think for the time being, there's not much to do. So I
Right.
think anybody, content creators that are watching this, even for us, like, if someone wants to use our content, we got to have a discussion before we just say yes, even if it's the biggest names out there.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think that's a smart way to do it.
Hmm.
You put a lot of time and effort into something and you hope to be
Yeah.
rewarded from it or at least,
Hmm.
yeah, recognized.
Hmm.
Yep.
But yeah, yeah, that's always a good topic. Like I said, we'll continue seeing some, and I think it makes me sort of think and be more mindful of when I scroll TikTok. It's like, okay, if I see these big pages posting something, I'm gonna go look at the smaller channel, just sort of give them that like, give them that support, because like I say, they're the original creators of it.
It's a great point.
Uh,
Yeah, it's a great point to click on, the tag or whatever they do
hmm.
to kind of recognize that person. I
Yeah,
completely agree.
yeah. So, but yeah, that's sort of the content game, some of the media stuff, and one piece of media that's probably been clipped by millions of people happened yesterday, Sunday, the Oscars. A lot happened at the Oscars.
Oh
A
yeah.
lot of drama, snubs, surprises, things to talk about. But, just like with, what we were talking about, a lot of people are posting different clips on their own pages and they're getting the likes. So, if you find the way to do it without getting in trouble, kudos to you. I think we go for just original content, trying to do our own thing. We support all these other creators, but um Oscars. First we did have our little Oscar group on ESPN Fantasy. We only had 4 people join, but it was still our first year, and the person that won was me. I took that crown. I was
Like we said
thir
last week, you get to
13 and 10.
recognize yourself, John.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so congrats to me for taking
Bravo.
this, 13 and
Yep.
10. I think the next person close was 10 and 13, and like I say, I I'm proud of my picks. I did make some of the picks that I think won it for me was Anora. I had
Oh
that
yeah.
winning the big show, and also Mikey Madison winning it. So that I would say that's one of probably the surprises for me is how much Anora won. Like I say, great movie from what I've heard. I only watched like I want to say maybe like the first 30 minutes, and then I had to do something, but Vera watched the whole movie. She said it was a great movie, and it's one I do want to finish watching as well. But I would say them winning Best Picture, Best Director, and even female lead with Mikey Madison. That was a
Mhm.
surprise. One of the surprises for me. Um, what did you think of that, Tim and Nora?
Yeah, I had watched, I guess, some clips after the SAG Awards, and a lot of people were just kind of commenting on Anora, saying that
Hmm.
it was kind of the favorite, I guess, in maybe their eyes, maybe just for that creator, I'm not too sure.
Hmm.
Uh, just based off of the film and the recognition it was
Hmm.
getting leading up to the Oscars. So yeah, overall, I recognize the name and I've heard
Hmm.
great things about the film. I think that it's great. I don't I'm not too sure. Was this the independent film that might be on the rise?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The director Sean Baker sort of say, this is an independent film because it
Mhm.
was small studio. It wasn't something big production like Oppenheimer, Wicked, movies like that. So, yeah, one of the independent films.
Follow-up question for you here on that one.
Yeah,
Should the large entertainment businesses be worried about independent filmmaking
I
being more recognized?
I think they should. I think it's been on the rise, not just this year, but for a few years. But it's finally, I think, getting recognized for these big shows. And like I say, Sean Baker, the other movie he had, the only one I really knew was the Florida Project. Like I say, I watched some of it. Vera watched it all. She liked it as well. So, I think it's a great way to start, independent films because some of these big movie studios are only sticking to a few directors, big names, and not giving these small creators chances. It's almost like our game of
Mhm.
podcasting, Uh, these big networks of podcasting, Spotify, Apple. YouTube. They're looking for the big names, but you got to find those small creators because they also could bring magic. They could bring a lot to you, and that's what I like about the movie scene and watching a lot of movies. I've talked about it a lot. I probably would have watched every single movie that was up for Best Picture before Keanu, but since having a kid,
Yeah.
man, trying to watch one movie, I get through 40 minutes and then I gotta play, Encanto for the maybe like the thousandth
Yep.
time, gotta play Cars for the millionth time,
Yep.
just to entertain him, because he could only concentrate on, his fun activities for a bit. So it's been harder, but I've always enjoyed those independent movies, those indie
Sure.
movies. Great, great things. So,
Yeah, definitely. I'm there with you too, John. Right now it's Happy Feet. That movie, it's in repeat in our house. Which, Robin Williams,
yeah,
great movie. It's fun,
yeah,
musical. Uh, kiddos laugh a ton at it.
yeah,
And, this past weekend we were actually gonna me and Jen were gonna try to watch Nosferatu,
yeah,
but uh, one of our kiddos just didn't want to go to sleep.
yeah,
So it just didn't happen. I don't think we want to approach a film like that when one of our kids is awake. So,
yeah. Not that
we
one.
want to, we want to wait until the coast is clear one night.
Uh,
But hopefully we'll reattempt this week, maybe on
yeah.
a good night. But overall, yeah, one thing I think about is, a lot of horror films I feel like have
Hmm.
started being, independent,
Hmm.
most namely like Paranormal Activity. That
Hmm.
was one that was notorious for such a low budget, but
Yeah.
just outperformed everybody
Hmm.
and was phenomenal. It was game changing. Obviously, they made too many of them,
Yeah.
but uh, in general, it's cool to see independent films get the
Hmm.
recognition that they deserve because a lot of times it's more about the message of the movie than
Hmm.
maybe, the overall quality or where they're filming or,
Yeah.
the effects. So it's really cool. And, Anora, it certainly
Hmm.
helped them take home a lot. In
Yeah.
that, and I guess in another category, uh, I was kind of thinking Tim Chalamet, was he even? I mean, he won at the SAG Awards,
Hmm.
and I know sometimes, like you mentioned, that can be a precursor, but obviously
Yeah.
not always. Um, was that considered any type of a snub with Timothy Chalamet not winning for
Um,
that category?
I would say no because
Okay.
Adrian Brody, he was winning. He won the the Golden Globe. He won the BAFTA. The only one he lost was the SAG to
Hmm.
Timmy, or Chalamet. But I what I will say, and I sort of shared it with you today. Um, Hearing, and like I said, these are rumors, these are news reports. Hearing that,
Hmm.
Adrian Brody for his movie, they use AI to sort of help with him
Ooh.
sounding more Hungarian. And hearing that to me sort of takes away of what you do as an actor. The work you put into a role like that to earn an award like an Oscar. It sort of takes a little bit of that because you're using this artificial intelligence to give you a little boost where Timothy Chalamet, he practiced, he took years to get into this role and he did everything natural. I haven't heard that his singing was AI or anything. It was all him, and it's like when you hear something like that, for me at least, it's like Timmy should have won because he put a lot more into it. He didn't have to use AI to help him just sound better for that role. It's like so one of my things now after seeing that today. But yesterday I thought Adrian Brody did deserve it. He did great. But now after hearing these news reports, like I say, I don't know if it's real or fake, but I have a different take.
Yeah, it sounds like a snub after that because
Yeah.
all I'm hearing in my ears right now, John, is steroids and PEDs.
Yep.
This sounds like performance enhancers.
Yeah.
So, if you're not going to go learn, I guess, the twang,
Hungarian. Yeah.
Yeah, God, performance enhancer.
Yeah.
I think that uh, if it's proven, do
Hmm.
you think that they would have they ever done that? Go back and take an award back and be
No.
like, nah.
No,
Okay.
I,
Imagine.
it would be insane, but I don't think they can. And I was thinking about it because like when I read it like today and I was driving, I was like, there's a lot of things that come to my head, and my first one is if he couldn't master the language, why did he continue with the role? Because, like I say, I feel as an actor, you have to be natural, and it sort of goes into Emilia Perez, and I don't know if you've heard of a lot of the pushback with Selena Gomez and her performance. Her not
Uh-uh.
sounding naturally Spanish, it's a little broken Spanish. And, for a movie that's supposed to be sort of uh, a Mexican film, based in Mexico and a Spanish film. And it makes me think like I try to put myself in their shoes of would I have done a movie like that, knowing that my Spanish is it's not the best. I'll admit it. Puedo hablar un poquito, but it doesn't there's a lot of words I know I screw up, and if I took, language, courses, acting coaches to help with that, like for me at least, I wouldn't have done a movie that like that because I know of the criticism that would come from it, from doing a foreign language film and not sounding authentic. Because it really is about being authentic during these movies. So, like I say, Adrien Brody wasn't authentic. They had to use AI. I think that's, like you say, PED, cheating. I know Anora, I know I read Mikey Madsen. She did learn Russian, and her Russian sounded pretty good. I know I wouldn't be able to pull it off, but like I say,
Mhm.
the other one, not many people talk about it. They say people don't say anything because they're afraid of saying anything about Selena Gomez, but her Spanish wasn't it was okay, but it wasn't that great. I didn't feel it authentic. Like I say, it's just someone that they put in because of the name, and that's where I'm sort of like I hope it changes, but like I say, I'm not part of Hollywood. I'm totally different. If I got offered 20 millions, I will tell you right now, I'd probably say no, but inside my head, I'm like, I'll still do it. I don't care what they say.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, no, in speaking of Adrian Brody, he got a lot of pushback on his speech. Like they
Hmm.
started playing the music and he's like, no, 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 I've done this before, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of said he came off like people use the word like narcissist in the
Hmm.
comments of the video I looked
Arrogant.
at.
Right?
People were pretty pissed off at
Yeah.
that guy. And then,
Yeah.
you put in this AI thing on top of it.
Hmm.
But I don't know. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
And then he didn't he have a big fat smooch with Holly Berry in front of his wife?
That that wasn't this year. That was his first Oscar
Oh,
win. I think it
back in
was,
2002?
yeah, when
No,
he
they
won.
redid it.
Oh, did they? I think I
Yeah,
might have
red
missed that.
carpet. She walked up, and then I guess
Uh,
Holly Berry looked at his wife and
hmm.
said, "I got to do it," and then kissed him. And I think the wife, his wife was like cheering it on, but a lot of people were like saying like, "Oh no, like your whole
Yeah.
night would be ruined after that." Like,
Oh yeah.
you
No,
know,
I would be probably unalived by my wife if I did that, even though
yeah, right.
it was just a joke and for fun for the content. I
Right.
don't think she would, especially on the red carpet, it,
Oh yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
no, yeah, no, it definitely happened. Adrian
Okay.
Brody and yeah, because a lot of people were
Yeah.
like, isn't he married and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, he definitely had that occur on the red carpet.
Hmm.
Kind of crazy.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't
And
see much of the red carpet, so not too sure
gotcha.
about what happened there, but
Yeah, no, that was just kind of like a wild happening,
hmm.
I guess. But yeah, no, they we'll just say they shared a very nice moment. Reenactment of
Yeah.
2002, I think it was. So,
But
hey,
but
props to
but
them.
but the funny thing is like people talk about that kiss like even before this
Yep.
and how they were saying it was so wrong for him to do. Like because she I don't think she was expecting it. Like, and with the Me Too
Oh yeah.
movement, like he shouldn't have done that. He if it was the Me Too movement, he would have been in so much trouble for it.
Oh,
So
sure.
reenacting something that people sort of frown upon now, I don't know if it's the best look. So if you think about it, that's three
Yeah,
strikes on Adrien Brody.
right, absolutely. And I don't know, that makes me think. I see, like I didn't know like the I guess the lead up to that
hmm
kiss back
Yeah,
years ago. Um, I don't know, maybe this one's payback knowing that he's married now.
maybe,
Imagine.
maybe.
Um, but regardless, that was an interesting one.
hmm
And then I'm not, you know, my hair's gone, but hair and makeup category, um, for Wicked, I was like,
hmm
oh, because I was going off of like percentage of picks. I probably did that
Yeah.
wrong in, it's my first year in Don't Judge,
Yeah.
with the ESPN, league that we had.
Yeah.
And I think Wicked was like a heavy, heavy favorite for that category.
Uh-huh.
And a big reason as to why I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense
hmm
for, hair and makeup because I saw like, they had full on like
hmm
sections at Target of Wicked stuff.
hmm
And I
Yeah.
was like, oh man, like, this movie has a lot of merch.
hmm
Everybody's big on it. The singing in it is great. You name it. But I think costumes, hair, makeup, costumes is a different category though, right?
hmm Yeah.
But yeah, no, I figured maybe they'd go line in line, but yeah, like you said, they had a chance,
Yeah.
and that didn't come through.
Yeah. With that one, I also had Wicked just because, the makeup, hairstyling, Cynthia Erivo, she had, to be the Wicked Witch, she had to be all
Mhm.
green. So it's like, that shows a lot.
Oh yeah.
And what I will say is I didn't really look into the substance as much. I've heard about it, curious to watch it, but when I saw them win and I looked it up a little bit and seeing sort of the preview that they showed, when they show like all the Best Picture nominees, I was like, I get why they won because Demi Moore, the way they made her look in those prosthetics, it makes sense
Ah,
why they sort of took that hair, the makeup and hairstyling, you
with
know.
the movie The Substance.
Yeah, the substance. Yeah. I think if they
Okay.
had different categories of hair and makeup and then prosthetics, something like that, it might have gone wicked makeup and hairstyling. Well, the substance wins the other one.
I see.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Hey, time out.
hmm
Was that the build-up? Was that Conan's entrance? Was the substance like
hmm
that? Ah, okay.
Yeah.
My worlds
Making sense now?
collided right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
now it makes sense. That makes Conan's entry even better. And then that's a big
Yeah.
one up for the substance. So hey,
hmm
props to him. Yeah, if
Yeah.
I'm looking at photos right now with Demi Moore from that film.
Yeah.
Um, I can see it too. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wicked's great, but maybe that just it's a bit better. It's different.
Yeah,
Um,
it's different. And like I say, I think if they had different categories of hair and makeup and then prosthetics, I don't know how else to say it, but something like that, I think it would have been Wicked wins hair and makeup, Substance wins the prosthetics because what they did with that type of makeup, because it's what is considered,
mhm.
that was top of the line, what
Yeah,
they did to Demi Moore in that movie. So
makes sense.
that was a tough one, I would say. Um,
Yeah.
the next one that I was sort of bummed about was visual effects. I had
Oh, oh, yeah.
I had Alien Romulus winning. I really
Oh,
loved the
okay.
visual effects on that. But
Yep.
like I said, I'm not going to be mad though because I enjoyed watching Dune. Dune Part 2 was a great movie and I should have gone with my gut picking Dune, but I was like
Yep.
I want to see Alien win. So,
I did get that one correct.
yeah.
One of the few.
Yeah.
Obviously, John took over this. I got destroyed. Just so everybody knows, I think I went 7-16.
Yeah.
John with the win went 13-10.
Yeah.
But hey, seven. I'll take those seven.
Yeah.
Whether or not it included, Kieran Culkin with
Yeah.
the easy supporting role
That's
win.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I can see probably why you went with Alien
Mm,
Romulus for visual
yeah.
effects too, though. I mean, that was probably a close second.
Hmm.
But I think Dune was just getting a lot of a lot of support, and I think didn't it lost in another category. I think people were surprised at, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh,
Um,
it
was
lost
it
in a few.
cinematography
Yeah, lost in
in the Brutalist one?
cinematography. Yeah, Brutalist one. I had Nosferatu for that one just because the cinematography in
Ah,
Nosferatu was really good as well.
okay,
But like I said, Dune was also amazing. Brutalist, I
yeah,
haven't watched it, so I couldn't really say much
sure,
about it. So,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. One thing, shout out, Kieran Culkin,
hmm,
um, because whenever he's around, it seems like Macaulay's around too. I don't
yeah,
think, from what I heard that they're not that close.
hmm,
But Macaulay Culkin is just such like a flashback in time.
yeah,
I feel like for just a lot of us millennials with Home
yeah.
Alone and
Home Alone.
just this childhood acting.
Hmm.
Um, it's always really cool to see. And then obviously him being married to Brenda Song, who was big Disney Channel,
Hmm.
character.
Yeah.
So good stuff there. Pretty cool to see that he's there supporting his brother, as well. And he said that I think he cried, when he won, and it's nice. Family
Yeah.
supporting family. That's
Hmm.
always, a really cool thing.
Yeah.
Um, Trying to think of anything else from this event that, anything else, John,
I would
that
say
that maybe. Yep.
best speech of the night, Kieran Culkin. Loved his
Okay.
speech, just how original and natural and witty he is. He seems very, I don't want to say antisocial, but that he has some anxiety. I heard today on a post that he almost didn't do this movie. Like he signed up for it, and like 2 weeks before, he was wanting to back out of it, but Emma Stone sort of forced him to. And I forget the words.
Oh.
I would have to look to find the video, but she sort of traveled with him to wherever they were filming in Europe, and went with his family, to get him there. And he got there, and then he did it, and it was the best choice I think he made because he did amazing in that role. I've
Mhm.
enjoyed his acting. I've enjoyed his quirkiness that he has to just his style. And his speech. It was just funny because we did see with Vera last year for the Emmys, and Vera's like, yeah, I remember him saying that to his wife, like, okay, we're going for number three, and then hearing the story of now they're going for four, because she
Mhm.
said if you win the Oscar, we'll do four, and she's probably like, shit,
Yeah, right.
you know,
Yeah, no, I think he's an all-time speech guy.
yeah,
Like I think he's, like you mentioned, very witty,
hmm,
quick thinker, maybe displays a little bit of social anxiety, but I think that just kind of exudes in a
hmm,
funny way. And he uses it,
yeah,
well.
he
I
does,
mean, that can be very, very tough
hmm,
in general, public speaking, and no matter how
yeah,
much film time you have, I feel like that's regardless,
hmm,
it can always still be somewhat of a fear for people.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, props to him with his award, because like we mentioned last week, he runs up that
yeah,
category. Like
he
he's
does,
dominating.
yeah, yeah, he swept that category. Like I said, the best actor, best actress, those were pretty, dominant, but one person won a majority of them. But the other one that was dominated was supporting actress, and that was Zoe Saldana for her role in Emilia
Oh,
Perez. And
yep.
Emilia Perez, like I say, the most nominations and only got two wins, which I'm a little surprised. I thought it would have just been one, but
Hmm.
winning, I think, best original song. There wasn't too many songs. I think I picked Elton John just because it's Elton John. I thought
Yeah,
they were
of
sort of
course.
gonna go away from Emilia Perez because that's what the trend looked like. But
Hmm.
um, it it wasn't a surprise. Um, but I don't know if you saw her after her speech in like the press room after her win. Did you get a
I did
chance?
not.
No. So someone asked her, and like I said, people don't quote me word for word. I'm sort of just summarizing, but someone from a Mexican news outlet asked her how she feels about not representing Mexico, because a lot of Mexicans feel like the movie misrepresented them, wasn't, sharing.
Mm,
And she was sort of, I think she played the political point for a bit where she's like, I support them, but she got to a point, but she's like, but this movie wasn't made for Mexico. It was made for women, because the movie was based on four women. And in my head, I was like, I don't know if that's the way to have gone because like it is based in Mexico, so you sort of have to give back something to that country because and like I say, I'm not Mexican. I'm Central American. But when see a movie that's related to Mexico, Central America, I really get into it because it represents my people, the people, my culture, my heritage. Um,
yep.
and I feel that the movie didn't really represent Mexico and that culture as well as it could have been,
Hmm.
And like I say, I'm not going to speak much to it because I'm not Mexican. So, but for me, it
Right.
didn't really hit that way because I think of like for kids, Moana, for that Pacific Island type community,
Yep.
seeing that movie, those little girls that are, Pacific Islander, Tongan, Hawaiian, when they saw Moana, it really excites them. And it was an amazing movie that really brought hope for, that population. And I feel like this sort of hurt them and the way she did her, that after speech, I was like, I don't know if it's the way she should have gone.
Yeah.
But like I said, she knew what she was gonna say, but it was a little off-putting for me. I like Zoe Saldana, enjoy her
Yeah.
movies, great actress, great TV shows, great movies, love her
Sure.
in Avatar, but I have my feelings towards Emilia Perez.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe a miss. They were nominated twice in that category alone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, odds were in their favor. Looking back at it, I too chose Elton John because it's Elton John and
Yeah.
just the soundtracks he's had in movies are all time,
hmm
obviously. Um, but yeah, and when I too think of, movies with culture, like one for Mexico would probably be like Coco.
hmm
I feel like that was a great representation of,
Yeah.
small town and,
Yeah.
just
Those
the
tr
upbringing, the
the
family dynamic.
traditions, all that. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I think that displayed it perfectly. And what's funny is like mi suegro is
Yeah.
it's Miguel. And
Yeah.
Miguel's in the film, and then they're in a shoemaking business.
Yeah.
And I think my suegro Miguel, I think his family too is often in
Yeah.
shoemaking. I think that's predominantly where
Yeah.
his upbringing was and what they were involved with. So
hmm
you know it connects even there. So
hmm
it's pretty cool, and just the way that they presented it,
hmm
it made you understand a lot more, especially for children.
hmm
Just even what Day of the Dead is,
Yeah.
and the tradition,
hmm
of just that in Mexican culture. So,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe not the best representation,
hmm
like you mentioned, but hey, that's kind of how it in another category. I want to talk about this one too,
hmm
animated feature film.
Yeah.
Last week we talked about the Wild Robot, right, John?
hmm
Being Yeah, I ended up choosing Inside Out too because that was actually the only one I had watched because I hadn't gotten around to watch the Wild Robot yet. But
Yeah.
I really want to because as you mentioned, it seems like a phenomenal film. But Flow was the one
Well,
that
yeah.
ended up winning for that category. Have you seen Flow? And if you did you like it?
I haven't seen Flow, but I've
Okay.
heard great reviews of it. I don't know if it's in any streaming service.
Looking now.
Yeah.
It looks like it's on Hulu,
Hulu. Okay, so it's one
Prime. Oh, it is on
yeah.
Prime.
Yeah.
Hulu, Prime, Sling, Apple TV.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Um,
so I heard a lot of good things about it even before because I think this one came out, a little bit before some of these other animated movies. But
mhm.
like I say, one thing I hope to see in the future is animated movies being nominated for Best Picture. Because like I say, I
Yep.
don't think there's been too many. Like I say, Flow, the one I could think of that was which one was it? That was a hit. What is it? I'm blanking right now. Coco was one. I forget what else, but there's a few animated movies that are so good that are even better than like those big picture Hollywood movies. And I think they put a lot of money into these animated movies. So seeing these
Yep.
smaller ones like Flow, um, the
Beauty and the
robot, the
Beast
wild
was
robot, yeah, Beauty
previously.
and the Beast, yeah,
Toy Story 3.
hmm
Wow. Imagine
yeah,
having a 3 and you're
yeah,
still nominated. Good
yeah.
Lord. Up was another
Up,
one.
yeah, Up.
I can
Like I
see that.
said,
And then Beauty and the Beast.
there's a lot of great animated movies. So I think Flow, if it won, it's always for a good reason. It's a good story. So like I say, animated movies,
Yeah,
I think they're all pretty interesting, good, and whoever wins, it's one I do end up watching.
absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah, no, it looks like a cool film. You know, in I think that like us as parents, as
hmm
dads, it's a fun category because it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, later on as they get older too, it's like, okay, these are nominated. Let's
Yeah.
binge watch all of them this weekend, and we can see,
Yeah.
um, yeah, because it's something fun to watch back, and, and
hmm
and take a look at. But yeah, I too will be looking into it. I think an animated film that gets 97% like on Rotten Tomatoes
Oh
is
yeah.
what Flo got. Um, they're doing something right.
Yeah.
Looks like it released in October of
hmm
2024. So, um, good stuff though. It
Yeah.
looks cool. I think I saw previews for this one too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, it's a good one. And then what else from the Oscars?
I'm
Um,
just trying to
I
look
guess
through.
there isn't much more. Like I say, some of the speeches were okay.
Hosting
Some
was
of them
good.
cringe. Hosting was good. The final speech, because in ESPN there's a tiebreaker, and it says how many seconds will the first
Oh,
acceptance speech be? And that
yep.
was 153 seconds. I'm
Yep.
curious how many seconds Adrien Brody's was, because that one must have been
Oh
close to
yeah.
like 200 to 300 seconds. You know.
At least. Yeah.
So
Yeah. The whole event was calling him off and he still kept going.
yeah.
Out of curiosity, what was your guess on it?
I guess
I'll say mine.
75 seconds.
Okay. I guess that
Yeah.
makes me feel a little bit better. I guess 54.
Okay.
Um, that was really quick.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
figure the first one, it's like you get up there, you have the jitters.
Yeah.
It's not, everybody's not quite
Yeah.
relaxed yet. I feel like, like,
Yeah. And like I say, I think if they would have said which category would have been gone first, I might have changed my answer because the first one was Kieran Culkin. I
yeah,
I honestly didn't think they were going to present him the word that early on, so I thought it was going to
right,
be like animation, production design, these smaller categories, which they go a lot quicker. Because
sure.
I think if it was Kieran Culkin, I might have gone maybe like a good 2 minutes, so
Yep, absolutely. Um, I guess another one that kind of had rave reviews was the movie Conclave.
hmm
We haven't really mentioned that one yet.
yeah.
Um, haven't seen it. Have you seen that one, John?
No, haven't seen it. Like I said, I'm curious to watch it just because I like the actors, Ray Fiennes. And like I mentioned last week, it's a very interesting process. I I am Catholic, so I know about like the Pope, like the smoke, the
Hmm.
conclave to choose the next Pope, and with everything
Yeah,
that's going on with the current Pope, hopefully, he's still. It's not looking too well, but hopefully he pulls through. But if something does occur, it goes to a conclave, and it sort of gives you a fictitious image of what it could look like. Because, like I say,
yep.
I don't think it's all. 100% accurate, but well, the movie probably wasn't 100% accurate, but it sort of has bits and pieces of what it really is. So,
Absolutely. That's a really interesting story behind
yeah.
that movie too, with um, I guess the deep secrets of what
Hmm.
is in the Vatican and
Yeah.
what's known. Because I feel like that's often a huge conspiracy theory
Yeah.
topic. So yeah, that's got to be one I gotta check out
Yeah.
too. Just for that topic alone, seems
Yeah.
good.
No, yeah. But yeah, overall, like I said, I like the Oscars.
Mhm.
We touched on it a little bit. Adam Sandler, I thought it was hilarious, his little
Oh yeah,
part
he's so
of
good.
it,
Yeah.
going basketball. I'm curious if there was actually a basketball game. I hope there was. How he
Oh
said he was
yeah.
gonna have a pickup game.
Yeah.
I hope there was one because that would have been epic, but I also know
Oh yeah.
it was probably just for jokes
Yep.
because I could see him just balling it up at midnight with whoever shows
Oh,
up.
absolutely. He wants to.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Dan Patrick Show
Hmm.
podcast, and he a few years back went to I guess the man cave that they have over there in Connecticut, and after his appearance on the podcast show,
Uh-huh.
afterwards they had a live stream of I think it was a 4v4, 3v3
Okay.
against the pod crew and Adam
Okay.
Sandler's crew. So he can he's a really good passer. Like
Hmm.
honestly, like
Yeah, I've
he's got
seen
great
those.
game, and he'll play with anybody, which is really cool. Like it's just he seems so human,
Hmm.
for such like a high up A-list role
Hmm.
that he has in life. So
Yeah.
pretty cool. And it's funny to see him the moment he had with Timothy Chalamet going up and
Yeah.
giving him a kiss on the head was pretty funny. But and you know what? Hey, I can't name the username because I didn't save that, but just the topic of him going up to Timothy Chalamet, they should make a movie together. And a lot of people are saying that, like, or at least one comment I saw, Timothy Chalamet plays the parent to Adam Sandler, and Adam Sandler's the son, and it's like a Billy Madison concept.
Yeah.
Because honestly, we're due for another Billy Madison.
We
That
are.
movie was
We are.
so good. He can't go back through school again, but maybe he can go through college or something.
College.
I don't know, but that movie was so good. Anything Adam
Or
Sandler.
or it's his son now, going through the same
Oh, there you
issues.
go.
You
Hell
know.
yeah, yeah. Much like what he did with what was it, Sandberg, and
Yeah.
the film that they did together.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
that's
forget the
my
name of
boy.
it. That's my boy. There you go.
Yeah.
Funny
That was
film.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they could do it.
Yeah. Critics didn't like it, but I liked it.
I feel like they never get the cheesy comedy too
No.
much. I live for it though. And like you,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
It was
the
funny.
humor right there.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that those were the biggest things I think from the Oscars. Like I said, the other one, I don't. I'll ask you just because it came up, and like I've talked to Vera a little bit about it. There's a lot of people protesting Anora, and the biggest reason is because it's about sex workers, and
Mm.
like for me, it's like it's a movie. They did do their research and went to from what Sean Baker and Mikey Madsen said, they did talk to a lot of sex workers to make it a very realistic movie of their life. And it's like, that's what movies are supposed to be, a representation of certain populations, certain things, Conclave. They probably consulted with the Vatican and did a lot of research of it, to make it look as accurate. So I'm like, all these people that are hating about it, I think they just gotta stop, because like I say, it was a great movie. You still watched it. If it wasn't about sex workers and it was about modeling, you guys wouldn't be saying the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I think just a lot of people just got to ignore it.
Yeah.
Just live your life.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't like it, I don't know, start a blog,
Yeah. don't watch
something,
it. Like, don't watch
don't
it.
watch
Don't.
it.
Yeah.
Just don't watch it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree. But if somebody goes and does the research behind the topic and, interviews,
Hmm.
real life people, going through that life in general, then
Hmm.
it's accurate to
Yeah.
what they interviewed and did their
Hmm.
research on.
Yeah.
I don't, historically accurate. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I just feel like people protest for so many
Uh,
different things.
yeah.
I know you and I will protest if that $1.50 hot dog gets raised.
Yeah. You
Uh,
know.
I'm not going to ignore it. So,
No.
I guess I I don't know,
I
but see that affects us. It's like
yeah.
hunger. So,
Yeah.
like this film, just don't watch it. But it's like,
Uh-huh.
dude, a hot dog, like,
Yeah.
where else am I going to get $1.50 hot dog?
No, nowhere. But yeah,
Yeah.
I saw those comments and I'm like, are people really processing it, saying it shouldn't have won, shouldn't have been nominated? I was like, if you watch it, from what I've heard, like I said, I still need to finish it. It
Yep.
was a great movie, a great main movie. It's an independent movie. They make movies about a lot of random stuff that get nominated and people don't complain. And just because it's a industry that's looked down on, I'm like, it shouldn't be that way because there's a lot of industries that people don't like, you know,
Yep.
and it doesn't get the same pushback. So I was just like, it's sort of, I didn't like it, like I said, but I know some people feel certain ways about certain topics.
Yeah. Yeah. Pushy for some and not others. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think just in general, just people need to maybe not worry so much.
Yeah, relax.
I don't know.
There's bigger battles to fight, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
healthcare, stuff like that.
Healthcare, I thought one was that asteroid that was going to come to Earth in 2032.
Yeah.
Evidently, that's not a factor anymore. That was
No.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw plenty of people saying like, "Oh, where's it going to hit? That way I can
Uh,
stand under it." And I'm like, "Dude, you are you're
that
right."
it's straight up Independence Day stuff where you just wait
You're
for the
right.
alien thinking they're gonna say hi and just blow you up.
Exactly. But hey, on the bright side, if you want to just maybe people just need to look at the bright side of things because in the bright side of that situation, at least we can see it and
Hmm.
try to do what we can to deflect it before it
Yeah.
would have gotten here. So, worst case scenario, I had full support, and belief that we were going to do something like a laser beam
Yeah.
and deflect that bad boy somewhere else.
Yeah.
But in general, again, if I would have worried too much about it,
Yeah.
worry would have been for nothing because it's not
Yeah.
even a factor anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But in general, going back to the movies, I thought the Oscars were great. Good hosting, always a fun event.
Hmm. Yeah.
Good stuff. I don't.
Yeah.
Does anybody ever do a food review at the Oscars? Do they give you food? I'm so sad.
No, the Oscars don't give food. I think there was one year, I want to say it was Ellen DeGeneres that was hosting, and she ordered
Mhm.
food for people, you know.
Oh, I think I remember that. It was
Yeah.
like pizza delivery, and then they had the
It
pizza delivery guy come up
yeah.
on stage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was something like that. So Oscars they don't
remember
do
that.
food. I think the only one that does food and alcohol is the SAG Awards because you see the tables, everybody has
Ah,
food, you know. So that's the party one. So, SAG
yeah.
Awards, give us an invite, we'll interview,
Yep.
we'll host, we'll
Food
chaperone
review.
too. Food review. We love to eat.
Yeah.
Um, invite us to that one because we could get a little
Yeah.
crunk on that one. All the other ones, you have to wait till the after
Sure.
parties if we can make it in.
Absolutely. Yeah. We do have a segment that we've conducted on this pod where we do live interviews at an event. So,
Yeah,
we're well versed. I think we're
yeah,
ready.
yeah,
Would love to do it.
hmm,
Yeah. And
yeah,
yeah, just if you want
yeah,
to know if your buffet's good or not, just easy.
yeah,
Hit us up.
yeah,
We'll invite Mike McCarthy as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, no, we're also ex-natural partiers, so we know a good after party.
Oh yeah,
So let
absolutely.
us know.
We could spend about 30 minutes in each one and just rate them as we go.
Yeah, the
That's not a
drinks.
bad idea.
Yeah,
Copyright it.
yep,
But yeah, no
yeah,
good stuff in general.
yeah,
Always fun. Cool to see all the celebs get
yeah.
together. Yeah, good event.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, good event. Like I say, what I like about it, it's just fun. It really recognizes the movies. hopefully people start going to the movies more because I've been a fan of it. I know it died down for a bit. Sean Baker sort of mentioned it as well. Hopefully people start watching movies again because it really brings a lot of us together, to talk about. Like we're talking about so many movies right now, and
Yep.
when we watch movies as well, we talk about it. So hopefully there's a change. Like I said, but just don't do that AI stuff, unless it's a full AI movie and that's how you promote it. Okay, I'll watch
Sure.
it because I know what I'm getting myself into. But don't say it's all natural and then have AI to help your language. And with that AI talk, there's a lot going on with AI, not just in movies, but in finances, in media, in schools, just everywhere. And it's a topic we've talked about before, and we got a buddy that we're planning to bring out to sort of have the conversation because when we're not, doing the show, and we have our mutual parties, when we hang out, we're talking about AI and that stuff. So sort of want to bring him on to talk about a few of these AI, things that have come up recently. And I'm not going to share any of it because I want to save it for when we do talk about it, but there's a
Yeah.
lot.
Absolutely. Might be seeing somebody come back. I don't
Yeah.
know.
A
It's a good
returning
tease.
guest.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll see who
Yeah.
comes back, but yeah,
Yeah.
we'd be thrilled to have him on. He's a great guy. He's knowledgeable.
Mhm.
He's really, really he's fun to talk to always at
Yeah.
events and whenever we catch up. So,
Yeah.
yep, got that in store and
Mm.
certainly lots more. We're always brainstorming, thinking of more
Yeah.
to do. Um, this is probably 23 hours a day at least thinking
Yeah.
about this podcast, John.
Yeah, no,
You know,
there's a lot to do. Like I say, I think after these Oscars, we're gonna get very creative with our shows. So, for anybody that watches, and we'll post a little clip at the beginning. If you're here for sports, we have very little sports this week. We're gonna have very little
yep.
sports for a few weeks, but in our description below, we have our timeline with all the topics we discussed. So if you're just here for sports, just scroll down, go to the timeline, click on the sports topics. But if you want to listen to everything, we thank you for going through our whole episode. Like I said, if you're here just for a few different subjects, topics, we also appreciate that. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts. Please follow us, get the alerts when our new episodes are released. And as always, leave your comments. Let us know what you think of our videos, our takes. We enjoy the engagement. We enjoy, having some little friendly banter back and forth, and
Mhm.
we really appreciate it. So,
Always, never a dull moment in the comment section. And it's great. We love the feedback. Positive, negative, neutral. It's all great because you guys are taking your time to watch our product, and we sincerely appreciate that. And we love continuing to do this. And
yeah.
T minus, I think 4 more subs to go, John.
Yep.
Uh, and we are at 300, so 300 giveaway. More to follow, certainly regarding that
Hmm.
topic. But yeah, like John said, um, be prepared for maybe a little less sports stuff, but
Yeah.
some certainly fun topics for sure.
Yeah.
We'll still cover sports. We always talk about it
Yeah.
anyways. So
Yeah, no, yeah, we'll always cover some of the big things. Like I said, I think we're starting to watch basketball, hockey a little bit more to be able to cover a little bit of that. But like I say, our bread and
yep,
butter, it's on the off season. So, but like I said, we're willing to talk about anything and everything.
you bet.
You know,
You bet.
we'll come talk more about Costco next time if you guys want, if you guys enjoyed
Yeah.
that.
Give a breakdown of the menu if you like,
Yeah,
It's easy money there, John.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Give a
But yeah.
review.
Yeah, but
But yeah,
thank you
good stuff.
everybody. Yeah, good stuff. Appreciate the time like you mentioned. Always looking forward to these, recordings and just prepping for it. And to everybody listening, we appreciate you taking the time and have a great week, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yes, thanks for listening.